You guys hear that? I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that's a Bigfoot. Let me tell you a story. A Bigfoot, captured in the Pacific Northwest, had been held in captivity for nearly 30 years by the Carnival of the Damned as part of their freak show. Half man, half creature, and all real terror, it fit right in until the last night it had ever been seen in its cage. Let's hear that story. Hi, my name's Timmy, and as a young boy I enjoyed traveling. Each summer my parents would send me back east to Virginia to stay with my grandparents while my parents worked. I really loved my Nana. She always knew how to just keep me happy. I had been in town for about a week when Nana came home from the market, and she presented me with a pair of tickets to the newly arrived carnival. I was super excited about it as I loved exotic animals, from lions and tigers to monkeys and chimps. It was all advertised on the ticket, and I couldn't wait for Saturday to get here. The days seemed to stretch on, while I kept hearing stories from others who had been to the show, how amazing the big cat show was, and even some sort of story that they kept calling a wood booger. I even heard a couple of the local boys arguing if it was even real, or it must be a fake. After all of this, I was about to burst, and then finally, the day arrived. Nana woke me up early as she had some things to do before we could go to the carnival this evening. Out we went, doing our usual visits to neighbors and others who couldn't get out for themselves. I couldn't help but be a bit selfish and just stare at the clock most of the day. And then it happened. Nana turned to me and said, "Let's go get ready for the show." So home we went, while she got all changed and dressed up. She looked amazing in her polka dot dress and hat. Nana always had class. And then I stood there in front of her in my brown tweed suit, just as proud as I could be, holding my brown bolo hat. Just then, Granddad looks over and wolf whistles and wishes us the best on our adventure, as he wasn't into people, that much he said. I was in amazement with all the sights and sounds as we arrived. This was the year I discovered my hatred of clowns. Not so much of fear, mind you, but an overburdening need to beat them in the face with a bat. Anyways, we walked past the big cats and watched the one-ring show, then browsed all through all of the midway, and that's when I heard it. Come one, come all, and see what only a few can stomach, one of the scariest creatures on earth. Step right up and see the half-man Sasquatch of the Pacific Northwest. Just 15 cents a person. Step right up. Well, I couldn't resist a look at Nana, as she kind of cringed with the thought of it, but into her purse she dug, and off to the barker to buy 2 tickets we went. "Hello there, young man," said the barker with his greasy hair and matching greasy mustache. "We're glad you could join us, but are you sure your lovely lady is ready to see such horrors as these?" Well, Nana spoke right up for herself, as she had seen the horrors of battle in the Great War, and surely this couldn't match any of that. He looked my way and smiled some knowing smile and pointed towards the old decaying red and yellow striped tent. Once through the flaps and around a blind corner, we were herded along with the others into row after row of folding chairs facing a stage. Inside there were just a few folks, like the man in the moth-ridden brown suit and the motorcycle hood and the leather jacket. Well, Nana led me to the seats towards the exit, and we sat there and waited for the show. It wasn't but a few minutes past when the barker returned, this time in a bright and red shabby of an overcoat and top hat, smoking a cigar and laughing at his own jokes. But with the wave of his hand, the music stopped, and the lights went dim, and he began to warn us of what we were about to see. "Lady and gentlemen, you have come here of your own free will to see the freak that is the half-man, half-creature known as Sasquatch by the Chehalis Indians, or Sasquatch to you and I. I, too, didn't believe the creature until I saw it firsthand, just like you brave people are about to. Just remember, keep your voices down, don't make any sudden movements, and we'll all make it safely out together. Now please form a line to the door at my left and prepare yourself for the horror that is Sasquatch. With excitement building, I grabbed Nana by the hand and pulled her so we could be first in line to see the creature. As the rest of the room got in line behind us, the barker came down before us and stood in front of the door. He knocked 3 times, then 2, and then the door slowly opened, and he stepped inside. He stepped aside and let us all by. I looked in the cage, but I couldn't see a thing. Others pushed past us and yelled at the barker, "Hey, is this some kind of a scam? There's no creature in here." The barker pushed past us all to stare at the now empty cage with the side door open and a panicked look upon his face. Just then, silence fell upon the room as we heard a low, deep, guttural growl from the darkened corner of the room of the tent. The barker froze and began to back up slowly towards the doors. Just then, the creature came forth into the light. It stood some 7 foot tall, must have been 500 pounds, great big ridges over its eyes that shadowed them from the light, making the details harder to see. Covered in hair from head to toe, it stood before us, heaving and now panting in what seemed like aggravated panic. It began to pace back and forth, and then stopped and screamed a blood-curdling roar that made us all turn and run from the tent. Nana was frozen in place, but a quick tug towards the exit's direction, she quickly fled with me. Others trampling over people who had fallen. I looked back just in time to see the Sasquatch snatch the barker by the arm and thrash him to the ground until he moved no more, then tore through the back end of the tent and fled into the woods. We rushed back to the car and avoided near collision after near collision all the way back out, and before we knew it, we'd actually arrived back to her house. Granddad met us at the door. He had heard on the radio that there was some sort of emergency at the carnival, and he was relieved that we were home. We sat down while they had coffee and tried to explain what had happened, but it wasn't until he heard it on the news report on the radio that they were actually looking for an escaped animal from the show that he finally started to believe. For weeks, it seemed there were reports of people seeing it almost nightly, until finally, it just stopped. Although there's been mysterious cases of missing persons around the carnival until it finally closed a few years later. But I suppose those are tales for another time. Thanks for listening. I'm Reverend Jeff, and may the Squatch be with you.